Hey there, and welcome back to the Attract and Stand Out podcast. I'm your host, Darlene Holly, and around here, we're all about helping heart-centered entrepreneurs and executive leaders speak up, stand tall, and share their message with confidence and clarity. Because when you're communicating clearly, you connect deeper, lead stronger, and build a business that truly thrives. Whether I'm coaching one-on-one or leading interactive workshops, I love giving women the tools to engage their people, build trust, and make a real impact. Curious about working together? Head over to darleneholly.com, work with me, or darleneholly.com/work with me to learn more. Let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Attract and Stand Out podcast. I am so excited for today's guest. I have with me Dr. Ashley Smith. She's a licensed psychologist, speaker, and author who challenges audiences to master their mind, push past limits, and live boldly. And most of you know I am all about helping women get heard and speak up boldly. So I love that that's part of your mission as well, Ashley. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to dive into everything and get to know your audience.
Yes, me too. It's always fun to have new people in our sphere of influence and see what we chat about today. So before we dive too far in, I want to hear a little bit about you. Tell us who you are, what you're up to these days, and how you started doing the work that you're doing.
Yeah, so my professional background, I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've specialized in the treatment of anxiety disorders for about 20 years now. And with that, I, for a very long time, had a private practice and worked one-on-one with people to help them really learn how their brains and nervous systems work and to keep fear, anxiety, doubt, insecurity, whatever word you want to call it, that inside ick from holding them back. And I love that work. It's important. It is amazing to work with people and to see them really become courageous and become confident. On the personal side, I have a really rare degenerative retinal disease, so I'm legally blind. And you can't necessarily tell by looking at me, at least not in this context, that I have a vision impairment. And I spent most of my life faking it. I'm really good at pretending to be normal. My doctors call me well adapted. What it actually means is that I was really convinced that if people knew about my vision, they would reject me, that I wouldn't be able to do the things professionally that I wanted to do, and certainly not personally. And it worked really well for a long time. I could kind of fake sight. And then my vision loss deteriorated. And about 10 years ago, it hit this point where I had to stop driving because, faking sight's all well and good till you're driving a car.
Not on
And
the
then you
road.
can't, yeah, you can't do it. So for me, that was a real turning point. It sucked at the time. I was in this dark place. I have great coping skills when it comes to anxiety or depression. That's my day job, and it's a really
Yeah.
nice side effect. But at that point, I hit just this deep wallowing place. And I realized at some point, my skills weren't quite cutting it, and I didn't want to stay stuck anymore. I didn't want to be miserable. And I can't change my vision. There's no treatment options. At the time that I didn't even have a diagnosis, it was just, we don't know why you can't see. We don't know how bad it's going to get. But I know how to do science, right? I'm a scientist at heart. And so I leaned on that and dove into the science of happiness. And I figured, you know what? I cannot be the only person ever on the planet to deal with a difficult diagnosis or a hard thing. And how do I come out the other side? So I started what I called my blind quest for happiness. And I started to look into all things happiness related and how do I find joy despite my circumstances. And when you put these two things together, so all of my psychology background, what I know about anxiety and brain science, and then my own experiences to find the ways to live a bold life despite adversity, that sort of coalesced into where I am now. And I am very passionate about helping people understand how their minds work and how our minds actually hold us back. Because I have to say, I am happier now, despite having worse vision. It's not like it's going to get better, it continues to get
Yeah.
worse. And I'm doing bigger things professionally than I ever even considered before. And now I'm on a mission to help other people do the same thing. And I don't do one on one work anymore, but I do write. So I'm an author and a speaker, and I do some teaching and training other clinicians how to do this. But really on a mission to help people find courage, find confidence, to carve out a life experience that you love, regardless of whatever cards you've been dealt.
Hmm. So good. I love, like, thank you for first for sharing and being vulnerable with us because
Sure.
I live with an invisible disease. And so I advocate in those ways as well. And there's like, it's hard when people look at you and like they think everything's normal and they
Yeah.
expect it to be one way and like you're doing your best and you're showing up and it can be exhausting.
Yeah.
I'll speak for myself. I don't know, but it
Absolutely.
was exhausting for me when, especially when I'm having, bad days and flares and life does, it
Yeah.
feels harder to get out of bed in the morning and do those things. I'm
Yeah.
curious, what are some of the like the things that have happened for you over time where it's like you've been able let me back up for a second. It sounds like you've done a lot of work, like prepare, like you almost were preparing for your future self in some ways,
Tons.
it sounds like. What
Tons.
are some of those connection dots for you that have really helped you steer the course
Yeah.
and really also start to help other people find
Yeah.
this journey?
It's, when I hit that point, really, I really see my life as like the before and after, like before I stopped driving and after I stopped driving. So before was all about fake normal, hide your disability. I had a lot of shame and fear that I didn't even really know was there. And then in the after, I can say fast forward to where I am now, and I'm at this place that psychologists call acceptance. And a lot of times people hear the term acceptance and they're like, ugh, no, because that either means I like it. I don't like it. I would choose 2020. I'm sure you would choose not to have an invisible illness. And at the same time, this is what we've got. So it's how do you make the best of it? People also hear acceptance as resignation. I can't do anything about it. And it's not. It's this, okay, it is what it is. Let me focus on the reality and then making the best of it. And when I started on this path, it's not like I had a roadmap of do these things and you'll get there, but I can look back and connect those dots. And for me, one of them was starting to be very open about my story. Like, I remember the first time I kind of came out of the disability closet. I was doing fundraising for the Foundation Fighting Blindness, and I wrote my story. I'm a writer, so I wrote it and then I sent it to every single person in my email list. I shared it on social media and then I melted down, like fetal position, crying. And I called my mom and I'm like, what have I done? Like, I can't take this back.
Yeah.
And that was, as a psychologist, I know that as exposure. Exposure is facing your fears. And then as you do that, the fear comes down and your confidence goes up. We talk a lot about, I think, sort of right now at this time in history, about authenticity and vulnerability. Well, that really means showing up and putting your real self out there when you're not quite sure how it's going to land. And it is terrifying. And it is the best thing you can do because it takes the power away from it, right? And again, confidence goes up and fear comes down. So I think that was probably the most impactful thing that I could have done. It was very freeing for me. And then I'm seeing that in sharing my story, even people who don't have vision loss resonate because we all have something. We all have something that we feel like makes us other or different or less than, that we wish weren't there. But sharing it lets us really connect one person to another. And I think that's so powerful.
You made me think of the first time that I started speaking about my immune system and my like I
Hmm.
have an autoimmune disease and it was like a vulnerability hangover is what I felt like
Oh,
afterwards. Like you
yes.
talked about like curling up in a ball and I'm like,
Yes.
and I had that same moment too where I'm like, oh my gosh, can I take this back? What if, what if, what if? And
Yep.
honestly, like you said, I feel like it brought people closer.
It
I
did. Yeah.
like when we share a story, like that already connects people. But when we share our
Hmm.
personal story and our journey and the things that we've gone through and our life experiences and the skills
Hmm.
that have got us to where we're at, it actually
Hmm.
like it makes people lean in more. They pay
Absolutely.
closer attention. And so if you're listening right now and you're like, I have something that I want to share with the world, like there's a quote by Brene Brown that says, share from the scar, not from the wound. And so when you're ready,
Yeah.
and it's
I
part of
like
your
that.
journey. Like there's something like so special when we can, be authentic and be vulnerable and be real in those moments and let people really see who we are. like
Hmm.
that's when like the heartstrings start to connect. And though like we like both of us even like just sharing our stories right now,
Yeah,
I can feel connected to you because I've gone through something
because you
similar.
get
It's
it.
not the same. It's different.
Yeah,
I'm mirroring like what shows up for me as you share your story.
absolutely. And then when we think about it from like from an anxiety standpoint, that vulnerability hangover or that oh no, the what if, that's just anxiety doing what it does. Like its whole purpose is to keep us safe. And what that translates to is stay tucked inside your comfort zone. And so that vulnerability hangover is just when we stretch really far out of our comfort zone and we let our guard down and we kind of let ourselves be seen.
Yeah.
Again, it's terrifying at first. The more you do it, the easier it gets because you learn, oh, that's just anxiety doing what it's doing. This isn't actually danger. Nothing bad is going to happen. And even if it does, I can handle this. So it's a powerful thing is that stepping out of your comfort zone, putting
Yeah.
your story out there, it's powerful.
Yeah. So when you're helping your clients then
Mhm,
as they're realizing like they maybe have some anxiety or there's some things that they want to share
mhm,
with the world, they're holding back. Like what are some easy steps if somebody is feeling a little bit of discomfort maybe in their body right
mhm,
now as they're listening, going, I don't know if
mhm.
I could do that. Like these ladies are so bold and brave. Like I don't know if I can be that person because we've all been had that moment where we didn't want
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
what's one or two little steps that you encourage somebody who feels like they're on the fence because they want to share something really bold and brave and they want to bring it to their community and let it
Yep.
be part of what helps them stand out
Yeah.
to really attract the right people into them? Like what would you say to
Absolutely.
somebody?
So, one, you got to think of courage as a habit. Courage is not something that you either have or you don't have. It is a habit that you can build over time. And every little step that you do builds that habit, right? So, you don't have to go all in the way I did of like broadcasting my story online. Like, okay, fine, that was big. And I did it because I really didn't feel like I had any other choice. But maybe you start by just telling it to one person. Maybe you just do a little bit of it. And I did when I first shared my story, I didn't even get into the deep dark inside insecurities. It was me just saying I have a vision impairment and can't drive anymore. So it was and that was huge for me, but we can do this in baby steps. So I want you to think about putting yourself out there, stretching out of your comfort zone the same way you do about going to the gym. You don't go to the gym and all of a sudden like bench press 1,000 pounds. You maybe go and you lift a little bit and you're going to be real sore, but you have to keep going. If you just go once and you're like, well, I'm sore, I'm not doing it again, it's not going to get easier. So baby steps repeatedly, consistently. The other piece that I think is so critical for people to understand is that you can't believe everything you think. Your mind is a thought generating machine designed to keep you safe. So that means it wants to avoid anything that is hard, boring, or scary. So as soon as you start to do anything that is hard, anything that is boring, or anything that is scary, you're going to notice that your mind gives you all of these excuses not to. And it's going to sound like, what if, oh no, or predictions. It's not going to go well. It's not going to be worth your time. No one wants to hear what you have to say. Your story's not that good. It's not. All of that is frankly just BS. So I really teach people there's you and there's your mind or anxiety. And we want to treat it like it's a separate entity. It's like the inner hater or the inner critic. And
Yeah.
if you listen to it, it's going to get bigger, it's going to be more of a bully, or you learn to boss it back. Like just because you think something doesn't mean that it is true or accurate and certainly not helpful. And the more you get used to that, of like, oh, my mind is telling me this, like put those words in there. My mind is telling me something bad is going to happen. It helps you to get a little bit of distance. And then you can practice courage and let your mind do what it's going to do, which is freak out.
Yeah.
Cool.
And our mind definitely takes it can take over. I've had plenty of
100%.
times in my life where I'm like, oh my, like I could feel myself in the vicious cycle of
Hmm.
the negative and like telling
Yep.
me I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, or like whatever it was telling me that day. And I
Yeah.
can consciously be aware of it and
Hmm.
still feel stuck.
Absolutely.
And so it's take like it's funny to be in those places because we know like our minds
Yeah.
also like this is not real. This is fake. This is not actually going to happen because I know one of the things that I talk a lot about with my clients is like we're really good at telling ourselves stories. we're really good at making up a scenario of
Yeah.
something that we assume is going to happen if
Yep.
we do this big, bold, scary, courageous thing.
Yep.
Like this is what like we go to the worst place scenario in those moments.
Absolutely.
Like really retraining our brain to think like I can actually do this. I'm just going to take one step forward today. It doesn't have to be a big, huge step first. I can take this step.
Absolutely. But the thing is, if you come back to that old saying, actions speak louder than words, it's the same thing. If you want to retrain your brain, actions speak louder than words. So you can sit and you can do positive affirmations all day long in the mirror, or you can use positive self-talk. No, nothing bad is going to happen. No, but anxiety is going to come back with, but you don't know. It
Yeah.
could. So you have to take the step. I like to say you have to say prove it to your brain, right? If your brain is like, if you put this out there, people are going to shun you. No, you're not going to win that argument. There is nothing you can say that will convince you it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You have to prove it. And that takes courage, right? So it really is about taking that step and then saying, like, oh, even though my mind was telling me no one wants to hear it, I did it anyways. And you can do this in other ways, like even little things of, give a stranger a compliment and watch your mind say, like, oh, that's weird. Do it anyways. And
Hmm.
that defying your mind through your actions, that's what's actually going to shift those thoughts. So I like to tell people we build belief through behavior. So if you want to, everyone I've worked with, it's come in that says, like, I want to feel more confident. If I felt more confident, then I would do those things. And I tell them, well, you have to do those things if you want to feel confident. So behavior comes first, then the belief shift, then the feeling shift. And so it's getting really good at doing things even though you don't feel ready, even though you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we do this all the time. If you've ever sat in a meeting while your mind was like, this is boring, I want to leave, and you didn't leave, you know you don't have to do what your mind tells you. So you just need to keep practicing that, but in scary ways.
Yeah. It sounds like some of the work I do with my, especially my organizational leaders, like
Hmm.
finding like the confidence in those moments, like you said, like sitting in a board and you're in a boring meeting,
Hmm.
yet your mind's like, I have this really cool idea. I feel like I should share it. But our body is like, no, I can't share that. No one
Yep.
else is going to want to hear it. No, like, and so we hold ourselves back. But when we
Uh-huh.
like take hold of that idea and we just, I have an idea. Do you mind if I share it with you?
Yes.
Like it
Yeah.
opens up so many more doors, but it's so scary. Like
Yes.
feel like it's going to be so scary just to speak our heart, speak from our heart and share our idea. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's not going to come across as a great idea in this moment, but at least you brought something to the table. You're practicing in easier ways to start, sharing your voice and sharing your heart and getting your opinion out into the world.
Absolutely. I think that is such a great example. And then it really is learning to recode that discomfort instead of like, oh no, this means something bad is going to happen. It's, ooh, good. I'm stretching my comfort zone. And it like to use another gym metaphor, we tend to think of pain is bad, right? If I have pain, pain is bad. It means damage, get rid of it. Except if you go work out and then you're sore, that's pain. But sometimes we see that as, oh, that's a good thing because that means I'm getting stronger.
It's that
And I
hurts so
see,
good.
yeah, that's it exactly. It hurts so good. So I think of anxiety as the same way. It's not pleasant. It doesn't feel good. I don't like feeling it. But when my stomach starts flipping, I'm telling myself, that means this is exactly what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Go be brave. And so we kind of train ourselves to reinterpret that of discomfort is good because
Mhm.
it means you're growing. It means you're breaking free. So I
Yeah.
think that's important. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
That's why I'm such a fan of role play. And like
Mhm.
most of the trainings that I lead are what I call experiential learning. It's up on our feet, practicing using our voice before you go have that conversation with your boss or your colleague or your partner or your kids,
Yeah.
even. Like before
Yeah.
those conversations, we're so I think like we think it's okay to like, oh, we're just going to practice in our head what we're going to say. And we maybe have a couple bullet points and then we go
Yeah.
speak words and it doesn't come out the way that we want it to. We don't
No.
get the impact we want in those moments. So I'm a big, like, I love working with, whether it's with my one-to-one clients or with my teams, like, let's get up on our feet and practice using our voice. Let's practice what this is going to sound like. Let's hear how
Absolutely.
it comes across. And a lot of times once we say it once, we're like, ooh, actually, that kind of sounded snarky, or that was definitely like a little more intense than I was planning on. And we've all had those
Right.
conversations where, we have a blowout with our partner or the meeting
Hmm.
goes to hell and it just kind of goes up in
Yeah.
the storm. And I think like just taking a few minutes and whether it's, walking around your office or walking around your kitchen if you're working from home, like and
Yeah,
practicing saying those things, it can really make a huge shift in how we show up and how we communicate. And I think it lowers the anxiety in those moments too, because we embody the message.
absolutely. I mean, there are so many reasons why what you're doing is gold, right? Because we do kind of think about things and we're like, oh, yeah, that'll translate. But that would be like if you wanted to teach me how to play the piano, we're not going to sit here and talk about it, right? I'm going to think about it. Oh, yeah, no, I have to get
Like
in
there
there
might be
and
some finger
practice.
exercises.
Yes, and I'm going to drill the same thing over and over and over till it becomes muscle memory. It is the same thing when it comes to communication, to putting yourself out. Basically, any skill takes practice. And whether that is the skill of courage, the communication, of marketing, leading, whatever it is, a lot of times people expect light bulbs mentally to translate into actions, and it doesn't. You have to get out there, you have to experiment, and you have to fail. And that's how we learn. But people don't want to role play. We don't want to do the practice. It feels awkward. Like, yes, good. Embrace the awkward, build your tolerance for it and your confidence in those skills. So it sounds like great work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun. Like you said, it's
Hmm.
awkward in the beginning. Like
Hmm.
it's always awkward when we're like practicing, but
Yep.
it becomes like you were sharing earlier, like it's a muscle we're buffing up. We're
Yep.
not going to get that six pack of abs by,
Yeah.
sitting on the couch and eating bonbons and watching TV. Like we got to do a couple crunches and we have to do them consistently
Absolutely.
and we have to
Yep.
keep showing up.
Yeah, but I love that we need our six pack of awkward too, right? Like you've got it when you have a high tolerance for discomfort, and whether that's anxiety or awkward or someone else's discomfort. I was reading a newsletter today, The Imperfectionist, and he was talking about building your muscle or building your tolerance for other people's disappointment. Like go practice disappointing someone today. And not by, doing bad human behavior,
Yeah,
but by saying no or making your own decision. And I loved that so much because it is building that tolerance for discomfort so that you can show up and do the work you were meant to do.
absolutely. You made me think of a quote that I heard probably, I think it was like early in the pandemic. Somebody said, if I say yes to this, I'm saying no
Hmm.
to myself in some way, typically. Like
Hmm.
when we give away so much of our time, and I'm a people pleaser, I'm a nurturer, I love to help people.
Yep.
And I was realizing that I was saying yes so much to everybody else, that so much was not getting done that were on my, like, that was on my vision board and my goals and those different
Yeah.
things. So I think it's powerful, especially when we start to train ourselves, like, how does this impact my life? How is this going to help support me? It's okay to say
Absolutely.
no. It's okay to, like, no is a complete sentence,
It
even.
is.
We don't
It is.
have to explain ourselves.
And honestly, oh, I agree with you. But honestly, when we start to explain ourselves why it's a no, what the helpful person on the other end hears is, oh, it would be a yes, except for this barrier. Let me help remove the barrier. So they actually push back. It's
Mhm.
more powerful just to say thank you, but no.
Yes.
And then it also makes me think of, because I am a nerd and I love the science, there's actual data behind what's called healthy selfishness. So we're all trained, particularly women in our culture, to put others first.
Yes.
Don't be selfish. Don't be so. We get that from preschool, right? Share your toys. Don't be selfish. You can't say no. There's this whole thing called healthy selfishness, which isn't putting yourself first, but it is considering your needs as important as everyone else's. And the research shows that when you have a good degree of healthy selfishness, your relationships are actually better. When you don't have healthy selfishness, so when you're putting everybody else first and you're not taking the time for yourself or considering your own needs, it actually harms your relationships. So if you care about it, and that's what I love with kind of getting into the people pleaser or the pathological altruism is sort of the flip side of that, where I put everybody else's needs first and I help everybody else to the point that it hurts me, it actually hurts other people too.
Yeah.
So I love to come at self-care from this angle of like you taking care of yourself is actually doing a solid for everybody else who depends on you.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just like I noticed for myself at least, I was getting resentful in
Bingo.
those moments. And when
Yeah.
we like that, that's not something I like to see in myself. Like
No,
when you're
resentment is
showing up
just a
because you have to, you're not coming from a place of love or help. Like you're like, oh my
no.
gosh, why did I say yes to this thing? And then all of a sudden, like you're resenting yourself, but you're also resenting the other person. And so
Absolutely.
I can see like definitely that correlation of like hurting the relationship as a whole because
Yeah, resentment is it's like poison for a relationship, right? And resentment is it's just a call to action. If you feel resentful, that is your signal that you said yes when you shouldn't have, or that you didn't set a boundary. So it's just valuable information, but then we have to be willing to do it, or else resentment is like it's this tiny seed that will just grow and invade the relationship.
It's like a weed in the garden.
Bingo.
We do not want those
Exactly.
weeds in the garden.
Yes. Yeah.
I love this conversation. I'd love to hear, I know you have a book. Can you share
Mhm.
a little bit about what your book's about? And I'm assuming a little bit about what we already talked about, but
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
your book and what we need to know so we can go and pick it up off the shelf.
Absolutely. So the book is called The Way I See It, A Psychologist's Guide to a Happier Life. It is, think about it if your therapist and your best friend had a book baby. This is it. So it's short chapters that are rooted in science but told in a really relatable way, and it's everything you need to know about how your mind works, dealing with difficult emotions, being able to show up and do hard things, and ultimately find happiness. So you can get it pretty much anywhere you get books. So it's available in paperback, Kindle, and audio everywhere. And if you want to try it out, I do have a free chapter. So that is the chapter is called How Your Mind is Holding You Back. And it's a little bit about, it's not a little bit, it's a lot about how your mind actually works and the sneaky secret ways that it holds us back. And that's available at drashleysmith.com/free chapter, all one word. And you can get it in audio or in digital.
Amazing. We will definitely, I know I'm gonna go grab my copy because the mind is one of my favorite things to explore because I'm always ever learning about it.
I wish everybody knew what I do about the way our minds work because we would all just have bigger, bolder lives if we did.
Yeah. And we need to step into them.
Hmm.
There's no better time than today to be bold and be
Exactly.
courageous and put ourselves out there. So what's coming up next for you? Tell us a little bit about like what's next for you.
Yeah, I am really focusing on speaking right now. So I do a lot of public speaking, sharing this stuff about how our minds work, how to be courageous and confident, how to find joy despite circumstances. And so May is Mental Health Awareness Month, which is a really busy time for psychologists. So I'll be all over the place. And then I also have a monthly newsletter that I publish. So if you sign up for the free chapter, you'll get that as well. And then I have plans for a next book.
Amazing. I cannot wait. Well, let's jump into some rapid fire questions because we
Okay,
all want to know Ashley just a little bit better. If
sure.
I could buy you a plane ticket anywhere in the world today, where would you go and why?
Colombia. Oh, I love the Latin cultures and I love the Latin dance.
Amazing. Yeah, that would be fun. Oh, we can go do some dancing. I could
Yeah.
get on board
Oh,
with
I have a
that.
very low dance threshold. You could hum row, row, row your boat and I'm going to be moving. So.
I love it. When you need to reset, reflect, and recharge, what are some of your favorite things to do?
My biggest practices are yoga. That I like to leave it on the mat. Feels great for me. And then, really, I have a practice of seeking out new experiences. So I have at least one new experience a week, every week, and have for years. And I find that is a really helpful way to reset and to come back into feeling like me.
I love that. And if we were to show up at your house, are you binge watching something on TV or are you curled up on the couch reading a book?
Reading a book. I actually don't watch TV, and so it is books all the way.
Awesome. And my last question for you
Mm.
on the theme of the podcast, what does it mean to attract and stand out to you?
I think that attracting and standing out is really finding that place of like centeredness where you basically, I think it's being you and giving yourself permission to be you, putting your shoulders back, your chin up, and saying, "This is me," and good, bad, and everything in between. And then I think as you do that, you will stand out. And in those imperfections, in that realness, you're going to attract people. We want to see real, we want to connect one human to another. So that's what I think.
I love it. Ashley, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been such an honor to hear your story, and I can't wait for people to grab your book and dive in because I know how important it is to make sure that we come at our minds with every angle to make sure that we're taming those inner critics and really holding that anxiety back so we can be bold and courageous. Thank you for
Yes.
being here.
Thank you so much. This was such a fun conversation.
I know people are going to want to connect. I know you shared the link for your website for the free book. Is there a social media platform that you like to hang out at as well that people should go over and connect with you at?
Yeah, I'm on most. LinkedIn is the one that makes sense to me, so that's where I'm most active. But I am experimenting on the other ones as well, so you can connect with me LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and it's at Dr. Ashley Smith.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that those links are below in the show notes. Thank you, Ashley. And thank you, everybody, for listening in for another episode of the Attract and Stand Out podcast. As you know, new episodes drop twice a month, so be sure to subscribe. And if you want to stay in the loop of everything that's going on in my world and the work that I'm doing, you can head over to darleneholly.com. And all right, as always, remember, I believe in you. You're allowed to stand out. You're allowed to shine. You're allowed to be you. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.